Welcome everybody to another episode of the Providence Lucha Talk. I'm your boy Jay,
And it's Lucito.
and we here to talk about everything and anything that has to do with wrestling. It's the week after SummerSlam 2023 in Detroit, where a lot of things expired. We witnessed, we enjoy, sadden, a lot of emotion. So we will be talking about that, as well as upcoming news about Ronda Rousey, and also interesting conversation about the thoughts of ESPN top 30 under 30 wrestler. So, our reaction to SummerSlam.
It was good. I'm glad I got
It's not backlash. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it was good.
I didn't. Okay, so I'll be upfront. I did not took the time of watching it. I was watching the highlights.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to talk about the Roman Reigns match. Okay. Like, how much can we stretch out the bloodline?
They're doing it.
Like, that's the part that's killing me, because for those who are still under a rock, what expired was Jey Uso did the crossbody, was about to get the 1-2, and on the 2, his leg is pulled out from the ring from an unknown person who turned out to be his brother, Jimmy Uso. And Paul Heyman is in the back, and he had this look like, everything is going according to plan type of look, you know what I'm saying? And, it was very confusing. It was very heartbroken. And then Jay, him against 3 people, doesn't seem fair. Get counted 1, 2, 3, and boom, Roman Reigns is still our tribal chief and still the WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion.
Correct.
How much can you stretch this out? Like, why this turn? The turn that I was hoping for was Solo
Solo eventually is going to not turn somebody, but he's losing respect on Roman. So eventually something's going to come out of that. That's a story on its own. There's been interviews years before, that, twins, they fight, they try to see who's the better one. They was like, have you guys ever considered having a feud between these two? And there's been interviews, and they could pull those videos and interviews in their promo. So that's like a match that potentially was going to happen eventually. Because the brothers always fight. Hardy Boys, like, they always has to be, who's the better brother.
Right.
So why not this? I was expecting Jimmy to, get it, but
Jay?
but the brother, Jimmy Jay, it would, one of those is that, like, I was expecting him to maybe get it or even Solo, but at the moment there's nobody for Roman to be at their level. At the moment. Unless you, for example, Gunther could be there, but he has to lose the title. Besides that, there's really nobody in SmackDown that could, like, contend or be a legit contender, be like, he could beat Roman.
I'm familiarized with those interviews, and that was part of their retirement plan of them going one-on-one. So are we saying
they're in their 40s, and they've done it, like, they've done basically not wrestle for not 20 years, but let's say 15, 20. They had a great, like, if they just retired now, they'd be one of the top, like, we discussed this before, the tag team, one of the best tag teams in history.
They already consider,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they've done it all.
They're already considered as the greatest tag team of WWE.
The only thing they haven't done is individual accolades, but as a team, they've been.
But at the same time, it just doesn't make sense to push it now than later, because their vision was to do it at WrestleMania, not, any random moment to make sense.
But you got 6 months to build this out. Sort of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, like, to me, if any direction should have been taken for this, what they triggered to be more effective, should have been, you have Solo turn on Roman. Roman, become the most the most monstrous wrestler you see. and he causing like he becomes like Thanos, like Hulk, just wrecking shit. And then you have Jimmy turn inside for them to have that one-on-one, because it's like now that Roman is still your tribal chief, Solo possibility could turn on Roman and Jimmy, and it's like swapping players, and they be like, all right,
2-on-2 or whatever.
2-on-2, whatever.
Yeah.
And we possibly could be seeing maybe a possibility that they could be a Roman versus a Rock match in the near future, because with the interview that The Rock had with Kevin Hart and talking about how they got WrestleMania in Philly, it sounds like, okay, now what's really going to happen? Are we really going to finally see this ultimate package, or is it just like one and done? So it was just
for me, when I saw it live, I didn't know who it was, and I was sort of in shock. But I'm like, okay, they kind of like notable.
I thought it was anybody from New Japan, to be honest with you. I thought they brought in Toma Tonga,
God basically.
God.
No.
I thought it would be one of those cats because they're about to be free agent and they just decided to advance. I thought it could have been Nick Atlas. It could have been anybody. But for it to be Jimmy Uso, to me,
for me, I'm not mad at it. You think?
I was a little bit. I was just mad that the story of Roman still being champion is just prolonged even more.
Yeah.
That's
because I think
my problem.
I think he probably needs one more year to like be like the all-time. Basically, sort of.
Yo, this man is really cashing the fattest cow the world have ever seen. Because, like, not even The Rock got this type of treatment. Stone Cold, Triple H. Who else? Yeah, Triple H, the most was maybe, like, almost a full year, but not this long. Like, God freaking Lee.
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest reaction that I have against the Roman Reigns match. Jay is going to have to be pulling some tricks under his bag. Maybe God will be on his side. Maybe Solo is going to be on his side. We'll find out, guys, because the story is going to be revealed this upcoming Friday after SummerSlam. Your prediction of the Women's Championship was pretty spot on, except the winner being Bianca, then Asuka, which is...
But my thing was, it was going to...
Io cashing in was a very good insight.
I think I got all of them but basically I had Io. That was my winner, and we have to pick. But I got all of them.
No, I'm just kind of in my head
because it was LA Knight for the Battle Royale, and we kind of called it. I was like, it's gonna be Gable, Sheamus, and but it's the people that are hot. So, LA Knight got that one. I had Logan Paul against Ricochet. Then, I was like Gunther's retaining that one.
Gunther's
retaining. Io cashing in.
You call that, yep.
Cody retaining and a Roman staying.
Cody never retained, he just beat.
Well, yeah, retaining the win. Retaining, yeah.
Seth Rollins retained.
Same thing, yeah. And almost cashing in, but not really for the...
Damian Priest didn't pull the trigger. Io cashing in was...
It was the best time for her. It was the only opportunity for her to, like... Not the easiest way, but it's for her to be a champion.
I mean, like, payback. I mean, now that she cashed in, now I'm just thinking about other pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? In the near future, and stories to build from it.
Yeah, so you can pay back her and Asuka.
Asuka is out of the picture because Asuka didn't lose the belt to Io. Bianca did. Okay. So now it's like, instead of Bianca working with Charlotte, now Bianca probably going to be working with Io. And Io most likely will win clean or cheat with the help of Damage Control. Either way, it doesn't seem like Bianca is ever going to get that championship belt for a while. So to me, payback would have been looking good if Bianca and Charlotte were going to have that future matchup. That was my hope. Now it's not. Yeah. I don't want to see Asuka and Charlotte again because that's already been played out. We already, Charlotte already got her number. But between Bianca and Charlotte, though,
still unfinished.
It's still unfinished business. The same way how this previous Raw, we had Rhea, and then Raquel decided to whoop her ass after the match. And it's like, why couldn't we got that on SummerSlam? You know what I'm saying? That part didn't make sense. So, with the Seth Rollins, yeah, I mean, it's still a mind game, but I guess he's going to start working with Shinsuke.
I didn't see that one coming. I'm like, and also like,
It makes sense.
For me,
It makes sense.
For me, I when I saw that like attack or whatever, I was like, why? For me, it's like hasn't been not on a winning streak, but like he hasn't earned the opportunity. Yes, he was a former champion and everything, and he basically took his shot, and it's like I'm next. But like he just lost against Bronson Reed literally 20 minutes ago before the match, and it's just like you shouldn't be able to like, I don't know. Like he got his shot, cool. Let's see what happens. But it's just like there's other people that could have.
I mean, right now, Cody's going to be occupied. Wait, Cody doesn't have a matchup right now.
Correct.
So it's Seth and Shinsuke. Becky's going to be working with Zoe Stark because I feel like that's a good way to tie that. Because that should have been a match in SummerSlam between her and Trish or her and Zoe. But
correct.
What? Good job, Kid Rock. Who else is building up a story? We got the New Day back.
We have potentially Damian Priest maybe not losing, but him and JD McDonough. Like he's put stuff in his head that
Jay McDonough defeating, whooping Sami Zayn ass. Wow, you asked for him, and he showed up. He showed up,
and he's like, oh, the thing that's the issue between you guys is that briefcase. So like I feel like I hope Damian doesn't lose it or whatever, but maybe JD McDonough could be like, hey, I could have a match against you for the time. Something. Like, it's been done before, kind of the briefcase to be
the Miz
stake.
did it to Otis during the pandemic, but I don't think they're willing to do that with Damian Priest. Damian Priest should have an opportunity for a belt. And, again, if it's not Seth Rollins, because now you have Shinsuke in the picture, then, damn it, go to NXT. You ain't gonna touch Roman.
No.
And if you do, bro, that's a left field play that nobody wanted to see in the longest, or not at the moment. That's just be way left field. But a lot happened. A lot happened. Ricochet taking the L. I mean, it sucked, but I guess millionaires are millionaires. You know what I'm saying? But he is the face. He's being the face of Raw in some type of way for promotion.
Yeah.
So, cool, but what now? Like, I need my boy and, like...
He just lost the IC, like,
the U.S. title.
He lost against the one contender. He basically Chad Gable beat everybody. And it was just...
Ricochet was not going to be Gunther, okay? Like...
No, true, but it was just...
But for the U.S. title, it has to be... I would like Ricochet to go for the U.S. title or get in the mix with Dom and go for the North American title.
That would be a better fit. Ricochet's worked with Santos Escobar back in Lucha Underground. So they have some history there.
Yeah, but...
I think it should be Prince Puma and the other guy used to be, I think, Min Muertes or... Basically when he was masked.
But
so they worked with each other.
That doesn't even translate to what occurred in... Friday night. Friday night, we didn't see no Escobar versus, Austin Theory. There was
nothing.
It was nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're going all over the place, but just, we'll be back to more reaction. So then, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens are both ill, so we don't know what's going to happen to the title. Unfortunately, Sonya Deville tore an ACL. During her tag team match against Charlotte and Bianca. And we don't know, like, supposedly Chelsea Green is looking for a new partner, which is kind of unorthodox. Because, like, if you're a team and one is down, then it's like you get relinquished. Like, you let go of the belt.
True.
Now, Roman Reigns got injured during SummerSlam. And the question is, should he or should he not also lose the belt?
He's a part-timer, so he's not going to drop it.
Part-time.
And he could just talk. He don't need to be in action. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could still handle Solo to do his thing at the moment.
Or now, Jimmy.
Yeah. But, you know what I'm saying? So he has people to fight for him. The women's tag team situation, either Chelsea Green should try to get somebody or little forfeit or make another
It's
team.
still unorthodox. I've never seen this type of situation before. Because, like, the bloodline, Sami Zayn was an Uso. You know, he was part of the group.
Correct.
So it made sense for him to, help out Jay to defend the title. Chelsea Green and Sonya didn't establish a stable of any sort.
And
so
I think Carmella was with them, and Carmella's pregnant, so she can't.
Carmella is still pregnant.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is pregnant. So it's like, what is really going on in this tag team division? Because, like, I would rather have Chelsea Green and Sonya relinquish the belt, do the tournament, give us a new champion, boom, and then have
restart,
Sonya, and then Sonya be like, I never lost a belt, so I'm back stronger than ever before. Like that would be my approach.
And there's a big opportunity for Alba Rain and Aladon to maybe get the titles again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm going more
Katana Chance and the other one.
Kana and Keaton Carter. Those would be my pick to become new tag team champion, unless Liv, miraculously get healed. It's not gonna be Raquel. Raquel seems to be
Yeah, well, the way, like
the way. I mean, well, the way is not really the way anymore. Like, I haven't seen Johnny Gargano in months. So there's a lot of empty space that I'm seeing.
I will say, yeah. So the tag team, it's a little mess right now. The New Day came back, which is good. Well, 2 out of the 3, but they came back, so they beat the Viking Raiders, so they could, they got kind of some momentum going, so they could potentially take over and kind of take over, if they relinquish, take over the undisputed titles.
And notice how well people still receive them.
Yeah.
They could be gone. They could be absent for a year, and if they come back, they're gonna get the same pop, the same love. They will get the same push. They'll sell more merch. And I don't know if they could outbeat LA Knight at the moment because he's currently the top seller in merch. But yeah, New Day definitely is needed because we're still scrambling. They're scrambling, and it's not making sense in my head. It's not making sense to my head.
But also, getting back to SummerSlam, I feel I saw it. It was it was a good show. It is what it is. I wish there was more, like, the other titles, the tag teams, the women tag teams, or the U.S. title being competed, added to the pay-per-view. But overall, I think it was a good pay-per-view.
It's not one of my favorite. I was hoping for Randy Orton return. I was hoping for either a Big E to make the announcement that he's going to be part of the commentary team or backstage.
They reshuffled everybody. Like, all the commentary now, they reshuffled everybody.
So for those who haven't heard the news, in 2 weeks or the following week, they're going to have Michael Cole and Wade Barrett commentary on Raw, and then it's going to be Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and whatever is the third person who is doing Raw. They're gonna be a trio in SmackDown, which I'm not sure what's really going on because, like, Michael Cole is gonna be a working horse.
Yeah, but he's done it.
He's done it, but at the same time, it's like, damn, bro, it's like, why can't he just be in one position?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the development of a replacement for Michael Cole is lacking, because Corey Graves is great, but he still needs someone to balance him out.
Yeah,
Wade Barrett is good, but he also needs someone to, and I don't think those two could coexist.
And they had Pat McAfee in a while. He was doing great, but he needed somebody like Michael Cole to, like, even out the energy.
So it's a little bit confusing of, like, what is the criteria for a person to stay consistent and be able to be the replacement of Michael Cole? Because it's very mind blowing. Like, Samoa Joe did it, he's out. Renee Young did it out. Booker T,
Beth Phoenix,
NXT. Beth Phoenix retired. Phillips no longer with the company. It's like guys, like, Braxton, he's backstage report. It's like, what is needed so Michael Cole could slowly like take a seat back and let the young ones rise.
But I would say, do you need somebody like that to kind of like not like that's why we had Jerick and Lawler and we had
Jr.
JR kind of like that they were the staple, like kind of like
They were.
like, you know what I'm saying. So it was difficult not to replace them, but like that's why Michael Cole, was with them and like kind of learning and everything. He became them.
But isn't it funny that it slowly has not been progressing to that direction? Because like, at least with JR and Michael Cole, when they were together, they were mostly alike in, he picked up a few tricks from JR that slowly transitioned for him to be away from JR and then be more the main voice of the commentary table. You know what I'm saying? But the closest thing that they had was Phillips, and they let him go.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
And I think they had McGinnis too,
What?
but for NXT, but it's a different style. And you can have Booker T. He's fine, but he's not.
He needs someone like a Michael Cole to balance him out. You need like an Excalibur. You need a JR to keep you like more like engaged. Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho does a great job with the explanation and detail and the storytelling. So I'm just flabbergasted of like what is happening with like the commentary team in WWE.
Wow.
Because so far the most consistent we see so far has been Booker T and
Graves. Out of
the three shows, it has been the NXT commentary team that has been the most consistent.
Yeah.
Because everybody else keep getting shuffled.
Yeah.
And I don't see what's the difference of Corey Graves being on Raw versus Corey Graves being on SmackDown.
It's less time, and maybe you could give not a big.
Lucito, that's the obvious.
No, but I'm saying, but like, it's just the story. Like, you have to know. Basically, the main story in SmackDown is just the bloodline. Everybody else is just full after that. It's kind of like
that's the
for Raw. You have to like.
So what impact can Corey Graves give on SmackDown that he's not doing on Raw? You get it?
Yeah.
Because on Raw, I feel like he's more effective in Raw because not only does he have the relationship and he knows the ring, but it's like he just give it more flair and he has more time to elaborate more compared to SmackDown that, well, like you said, the time frame, but it's like, okay, the main story is just the bloodline.
Basically.
And if it's not the bloodline, then whatever you could pull out of it, and it's like.
But he's also Wade Barrett's going to Raw and they're going back, like they're swapping.
They're swapping pieces.
He's more not charismatic, but more charismatic than Wade Barrett. So maybe
Braxton is more charismatic than both.
Yeah, but when you had him and Corey Graves, they were kind of like yin and yang of it. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's why it worked on Raw.
Yeah.
That's why it worked on Raw. That's why two-man team worked on SmackDown, but it's in reverse. There's a two-man team going on Raw. There's a three-man team working SmackDown. Right. Is SmackDown getting more time? Is there better story development that we're not knowing about? Yeah. Is LA Knight going to Raw now? Even though he worked The Miz on Monday, but does it mean now that LA Knight is going to be on Raw? And what was the whole purpose of the draft?
Yeah.
It's like there's so many questions in that. It's just like I'm at awe. Yeah. That's all I'm at. I'm at awe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not upset with the result of SummerSlam. It was just not. To me, I just felt like it was not.
It's
good booking.
It didn't feel like a main show. Like it didn't feel like one of the 4 or 3 major shows of the.
It did not. And then the Monday after SummerSlam, it just like, cool. You gave us New Day. Cool. You gave us JD McDonald, but that was it.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, we're gonna get The Miz working with LA Knight and Seth and Shinsuke and Zoe with Becky Lynch. Okay, Rhea and Raquel. Cool. But what about these holes? The men tag team, the women's tag team. Who's going to it's Chad Gable who's going to face Gunther, but Like, the U.S. title. When are we really going to see this matchup? That just, like...
That title disappeared for a little bit.
Yo, Rey Mysterio and Santo Escobar match, I didn't like the ending of it. I don't know if I talked about it.
But yeah, he got hurt, so it was just...
Hurt. Like, what? I wanted a clean match. They could have gave us a clean match, you know, best of the best, good luck. You know what I mean? Best man win. But no, ref call it off. When I see those type of things, it's just like, y'all are overprotecting certain individual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's like almost 40, 50-year-old man trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, he could do it, but they want the safety of their...
Are we talking about the same Rey Mysterio that lasted nearly 49 minutes in the last Royal Rumble?
Not the most recent one.
Wasn't the most recent that he did about 40 hours? 40 minutes?
It's not different. It's not like you have people just, your purpose to throw people over the thing.
You had two great luchadores in a ring where we could finally figure out if Santo Escobar was fully going to be put over by a legend of Rey Mysterio.
Which he did. He beat him. He lost.
Did he beat... Listen to what you said. Beat him. He did not beat him. He was called... The match was called off by the ref because Rey couldn't continue, which was a little bit of like, okay. And then Rey announcing that, oh, during your... Dominique, during your match for your North American in NXT, I'm going to be there. And it's like, what? You see, like, the holes, the inconsistency that I'm trying to explain. It's just like, I just need concrete consistency storyline, okay? Besides the bloodline, I need things to continue to be more relevant, like Chad and Gunther. That makes sense. Yeah, Shinsuke and Seth.
For me, that didn't make sense.
That does make sense.
For me, it doesn't.
It does because like
he just lost against Bronson Reed.
Right.
Nah, got destroyed. We literally had a good match, got beat. You should even be, like, Bronson Reed should be the one taking his shot against Seth, not Shinsuke.
But who's a bigger star, Shinsuke or Bronson Reed?
At the moment, they're both equal. Like, Shinsuke, it's, like, overall, yes, he's more experienced and more known, but, like, at the moment, they're both at the same level in the card.
Who has more unfinished business with Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura or Bronson Reed? Because the answer is Shinsuke. Shinsuke has to have his match with Seth, not to take the belt, but just to buffer it until they figure out the actual next opponent. Because obviously, Shinsuke is not going to... Like, if Shinsuke take the belt from Seth Rollins, kudos for him. Okay, WWE, something big is about to happen with Japan. Because, like, that's all I got to say. But if he loses... then Seth Rollins is just making sure that he's still like the longest, the most, you know, working horse that the Raw division have to offer, which is good. That's what I'm seeing. Bronson Reed, he's a great wrestler. I'm not taking that away from him, but yet he doesn't have the same time as Shinsuke. And Shinsuke was put on the shelf for quite some time too. But Shinsuke still has a stronger accolade than Bronson Reed when we look at resume-wise. So that's why, to me, it makes sense that Shinsuke is facing Seth Rollins until Payback. After Payback, then, all right, go ahead, Bronson Reed. Or we could have a triple threat match. We could have a fatal four-way. Shit, we could have another Royal Rumble where Seth defend his belt against 29 wrestlers and come out on top.
The people that I could... Currently, as of today, the people that I could see potentially maybe taking the title from Seth could be the regular one would be Mr. Money in the Bank. He could take it. I could say maybe Alien Knight. Braun Breaker, if he decides to come up. He could come out of nowhere. Like those
he
three,
has unfinished business.
So
that's a good name.
I was like them three. Maybe AJ Styles, but he's on the other side, so it's like if everybody's crossing over. But I'm saying that's the only people that I could think of that it's like.
Maybe LA Knight is the next person to face Seth Rollins.
Because you kind of go through the Miz in order to go up. Like
exactly.
Miz is kind of not the benchmark, but he's basically the Dolph Ziggler of the show.
He's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you outwork the Miz. Prove that you're a better promo, a better wrestler than the Miz, and hopefully it's not the best 2 out of 3 either. Like we're good for now. We're good. Just beat him once. Seth Rollins is your next opponent. That's how I see it. And while you're working with him, Shinsuke is going to keep Seth busy for a bit until Payback. That's how I see it. It's like, that makes sense to me. But we're going to find out more on Friday because they have to figure out what they're going to do with the tag team belt, and they got to figure out what they're going to do with the women's tag team belt as well. Those 2 things are still like question mark for me. So let's switch over to outside of the WWE universe. NWA former wrestler Nick Aldis is a free agent, and he is most likely to be acquired by WWE, who's offering a supposedly quote good contract, which means good money. Now, he stated that NWA still owe him money. So, Lucito, is this a good acquisition, or do you see him going elsewhere?
It's good financial move for him to finish business. I don't think he did a little stint in WWE, but it wasn't kind of the same thing with LA Knight. He went through WWE, then kind of went back to the Indies. The only thing is he'll be stuck in the middle. There's really nothing for him in WWE. He could be in the main event, whatever, cool, but it's like if I was a current person like the Chad Gables, Ricochet, everybody who's like stuck in the middle, I'll be pissed if somebody, which is, he's earned it. He's basically been the main event person for NWA, for Impact. Like, he's been the guy. But I don't know where he fits. Maybe if he gets acquired by WWE, maybe you could throw him to Cody, because Cody's not doing anything, and they had some beef before, and Cody beat him for the NWA title, and they had some indie package from before. If him and AJ, like, he could go against indie people. But if he just came straight to the main event, he'll get lost in the shuffle. And I feel like I don't think he'll transition over. For me, I don't think the crowd will know him as much as the AJs or the Kevin Owens, or like, he hasn't made a big splash in the indies to be like, oh, that's like, if Kenny came over, everybody knows Kenny. Nick Aldis, he's great, he's good. It's just, I don't think, like, he hasn't crossed, like, kind of like the forbidden door yet to, like, both WWE fans know as much as
if
the
NXT
indies. And I wouldn't want to see him in NXT.
NXT would probably utilize him to build a name and then transition to Raw or SmackDown.
But like, he don't need to.
If he proceed on with WWE, if he decides to go with Ring of Honor, I think that would be more favorable for him, because they need some fresh players. Honestly, we need some new faces, someone to be more contenders for the Pure Championship or the heavyweight belt, even for the trio. Like, we need some changes up in Ring of Honor for.
But I know he'd be a good person to go against Samoa Joe, for the TV Championship.
Also the TV
He'd be
Championship.
a good face, like, for that division. Even Claudio, but it'd be a little tough. But I think if he ends up going to WWE, it's just good money, good everything. I know his wife went through, Mickey James, but it's just like, maybe if he comes through, him, Mickey James could be like a couple. You know what I'm saying? Mickey James
Retired,
but
she ain't wrestling.
Money talks.
She could be a manager,
or something,
most likely, but she ain't gonna.
But do you see a lot of legends, doing kind of not a part-time thing, but like, some legends that are retired has come back and done something.
Right.
So I don't see him being a big player, but we'll see. We just gotta see, his decision. But for me, he'll get lost on a shuffle.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Ring of Honor would be a good move for him. It's not AEW, but with Ring of Honor, I think he'll have more creative control. He'll be able to put himself in a better position. Shoot, Mickey James could be his manager.
No.
If he goes through like I said, WWE, it's from NXT and then upwards for a year, and then, be more popular. But that's that. Ronda Rousey posted on her Instagram that, Blazer is her best friend. She had the match that she always wanted with her best friend, and there's no reason for her to stay anymore with the business. Is it?
I
Are
hope
we
so.
done?
I hope so. Like, there's nothing else for her to do. She won the tag team. She won the heavyweight.
She won the
She main
SmackDown,
evented WrestleMania.
Raw.
Like, there's really nothing else to do.
She's already a Hall of Famer.
Like, yeah, sure,
Dude, she won all the championship except NXT.
true. But it's just, I'm glad that Shayna Baszler was kind of like the story came full circle. Shayna Baszler kind of like got the best thing out of it because now she's kind of getting some momentum, and we kind of got her out of TV. That she was, yes, you basically Ronda Rousey is just printing money, like you merchandise and everything, but she was not. For me, she didn't fit the product. Like she was just.
She fit the product before the pandemic. During like her height
Yeah.
when she first arrived and all that was great.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, it was a little bit hard to like get her back in the same rotation and momentum that she had before the lockdown.
And I feel like she couldn't transition from, I don't know if it's the training or the acting or something, but like she couldn't go from like the UFC to like some of them, like Shayna Baszler was able to like morph into like a sports entertainer into a WWE performer, even though she has MMA background. Like I don't know why there was a disconnect for Ronda Rousey. Like it just, like there was no. I don't know if it was training. I know she didn't have to. She kind of had a fast pass into the main event, but like I feel like if she put in her time in the background, kind of like what Logan Paul's doing. Like yes, Logan Paul's new and stuff and athletic, but like you could tell he's every time he's gotten to the ring, he's gotten better and better and better. Ronda Rousey, I feel like she just plateaued, like after the first match, like.
Agreed. And also, surprise to us, on the last episode of AEW, Jack Perry thought he was going to be having beef with an old head, but it turns out that it was the one and only RVD coming in and having a match on this upcoming Dynamite, I believe, for the FTW belt, which honestly, I don't see Jack Perry losing, but I'm kind of happy to see RVD do more wrestling because WWE had him during the draft.
And they had him rid of a little bit, and that's about it. Like
Okay, now he's in AEW, and now he's in the match. So I guess these old heads really are trying to prove that, wrestling, they're going to die on the mat. And it's like, no, bro, it's okay to let it go.
I don't know. I was hyped. I sent you the messenger, like the video. I was like, yo, I thought it was either Sabu or Sandman or Tommy Dreamer, somebody from like AEW, like I'm sorry, the ECW era.
Which he
I was like, I wasn't expecting RVD because the connection to WWE. I don't know if it was his like contract situation, but I'm like, it kind of makes sense. Geraldine used to be, his like frenemy. Like they hated each other, but they always like always got together and stuff. So I hope he takes the FTW championship, just to like, because he's everywhere he's gone, he's taking the title.
I don't think he's taking the title.
Either way, I'm glad that RVD is there. I feel like I see what AEW is doing, but sometimes it's just like you got people in house, build them up. Like yes, you could bring people from outside to like promote and kind of the name, but it's just like build your people, and it's stuff like it's fine, but it's just like eventually Jericho has to retire. Eventually, like all the basically the names have to go away. What do you have to show? Like that's the only thing it's tough about AEW.
AEW is starting to be more of a museum for our nostalgic memory.
It's becoming ECW, WCW.
Look at nostalgic memory. Like everything that was what we loved back in the 80s and 90s is slowly reappearing in a new format, different younger pieces, but it's still the same type of formula that we've seen, like you said, in ECW, WCW, TNA, before Impact, before it became what it is now. It's interesting on what they're trying to do. I'm not sure if we congratulated the new women's AEW champion, Kushida. No, it's Kushida. Why is her name blanking out? She blanked out on your. She's the first 3-time champion too. I think it's Kushida.
Iraq Rashida.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm just surprised Toni Storm is not going to be able to continue being the women's champion. We don't know what's happening with Jamie Hayter. We don't know if she's going to be in London for that matchup. I thought Paige would try to get the belt before then, but maybe she's going to beat Kushida for the belt.
Yep, Hikaru Cheetah.
Ichida. Okay.
She's the second 2-time. Yep, Toni Storm was 2-time champion as well.
I thought she was 3-time. Kushida is 2-time?
Yep.
Oh, wow. That's because I feel like she beat Nyla Rose twice for the belt and then became her 3rd time beating Storm, but it's okay. Yep. It is what it is. So, yeah. We got Ricky Stark, CM Punk going for the real championship belt, whatever that means. MJF, Adam Cole will be facing each other for All In.
I feel something's off about that. It's not too good to be true, but it's like he's too nice.
Who's being too nice?
MJF. Like, yes, he said, "Oh, I'm the devil and whatever. I'm an asshole." Yes, okay, but it's just like something is up. Like, it's too good to be true. Like him being too all right, handshake, cool. Like something he got. I feel like there's something working behind the scenes. So I feel like last minute he's gonna do a stipulation or something. I feel like I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing for his character to just have a regular match and win cleanly, and it's just like
they lost to FTR for the tag team belt.
Correct.
So he doesn't have an opponent for one of their top 4 pay-per-view, which is All In. So it makes sense that Adam Cole is his opponent. Yeah. I mean,
because I don't think in the background it's the Kingdom and Roderick Strong. They're kind of they're gonna screw Adam Cole out of this something.
I don't think they're gonna screw him,
but something's gonna happen.
I mean, I'm glad they're finally utilizing the Kingdom in sort of way because
they have history. Adam Cole should be part of the Kingdom.
Yeah, which for the life of me, I didn't know why. Yeah. I didn't recall his accolade.
Yeah, because he used to be in the Kingdom before he created Undisputed Era. Before he
left.
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so the Kingdom going to be working with Roderick Strong. Is it individual match? I don't know. I mean, the most I could see if MJF bring out the Red Dragons.
Okay.
And the Red Dragons betray Adam Cole. No. That's the one thing I could see that kind of make in play. Nothing to do with the Elite. Mm-hmm. Nothing to do with any other teams. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what's still up on the play. Because that is the only consistent match that they're giving us. We do have the Hardy Boys versus the Young Bucks. First time ever, I think, too. Mm-hmm. So, great to see how they're going to botch this up.
And I feel bad
Not to be rude, but it's just like...
I feel bad for
Jeff is old.
Collision basically was the lowest rated in ratings because of the pay-per-view. I'm like, that's the only bad thing about having a show on Saturday. Because you have the most pay-per-views. So WWE,
they knew what they got themselves into.
So you're competing, you know what I'm saying? At least once a month you're competing against a pay-per-view. Yeah. So either you have to give an amazing show on TV or people are gonna
No. When you know there's a pay-per-view, because not only was there's the pay-per-view, but you also had the boxing match. Mm-hmm. You had the Jake Paul unboxing match, and I'm not sure if there was another big event that was happening on that night. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was a lot against Collision for them to get low viewership. Yeah. If they made it to maybe the 500K, cool. Yeah. I'll take that as a win. Mm-hmm. But I would not set up a card to be like, oh yeah, and we're going to bring the Elite versus the CM Punk. No, I would not do matches like that. I would give my audience some great cards. You know, I'll bring out Miro. I bring out... what's the tall dude? Lance Archer. I would bring Sky Blue. I'll get the Trio. The Trio has been my working horse in Collision. I'll have them be like the entertainment for that night, and then the following one compensated with a better and bigger matchups. But when it's pay-per-view Saturdays, don't bring out the big guns, because there's no way you're gonna steal those numbers from like them shows. It's impossible.
True.
So with that being said, this is a fun article that was released a while back. ESPN getting more and more involved with the pro wrestling universe, and they gave us a list of 30 wrestlers who are under 30 that are the top tier. And my gosh, I'm going to read from 10 to 1. We have Logan Paul, Liv Morgan, Tonokoshi Takahashita, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, El Hijo de Vaquino, Austin Theory, Rhea Ripley, and MJF. That's from 10 to 1 of being the top under 30 wrestlers. Now, looking at this top 10 list, is there any person you feel that should not be in this top listing? If it was you who was making the list? Because I got my feedback.
I would probably move Theory in the mid-teens.
Okay.
I would say everybody else either, and maybe Liv Morgan. So Liv Morgan and Austin Theory kind of like move them out of like the top 10. But besides that, everybody else, I feel like either they're current champions or they're kind of the top of their.
Well, Theory is a current U.S. champion.
Yes, but like I feel like he has, since the John Cena thing, nothing has come out of it. He's basically been MIA. Yes, he's on the sea waiting for the more contender, but like you're not a fighting champion. You're not doing anything. You're just basically on limbo. Everybody else has either been contending, been a story, or been kind of like a main eventer in their respective like shows. And Liv Morgan's injured, and yes, she was a tag team champion, but she hasn't. There's other females here that I could replace them or move them up.
But with Liv Morgan, it's like she has higher popularity, and she has, so far, I'm not sure if she's a 2-time SmackDown champion, but so far her resume is looking good.
Because I would have put, for example, Tony Storm, Jimmy Hayter, or even Jordan Grace, or Deonna Purrazzo over her, for me.
Well, I personally, there's 3 individuals that I feel like should have been part of the top 10. Deonna Purrazzo, for sure. Tyler Bate, for sure. And I will also, just because I kind of like her, Jamie Hayter. Those would be my 3 people that I would put more higher in the top 10. Because El Hijo de Vaquino, I would put him a little bit close to the top 3. Austin Theory, I would move him down to the bottom 10. Not bottom 10, like bottom 5 of the top 10. I would remove Logan Paul. Like, he's just money. You know what I'm saying? He's a cash cow that they're just like riding on because he's doing well on YouTube and kids love him. Cool. But he only had, of a total, 7 matches in his wrestling career.
Yeah, and he's been in the main event or in a pay-per-view of those 7 matches.
7 matches compared to the rest of these people who've been doing it from the indies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why Logan Paul, to me, I would put him in the teens. Liv Morgan.
For me, I would put him opposite, like somebody that came out of nowhere and been in the...
Heavens to Betsy, no. Heavens, what?
He has accomplished more than most of the people here.
Then you should throw in Bad Bunny. Then
he's not 30. He's older than 30.
Throw in who else? Like whoever.
Whoever's 30 under 30. So Bad Bunny is over 30.
Logan Paul would not look. Logan Paul, to me, top 10, top 15, yes. Top 10, disagree.
Because, for example, like, he's more popular, for example, than Butch. And he has done more than Butch. And
Butch is not a good person.
No, but I'm saying, but I'm just looking at the list going down. Wesley more than Wesley, and more than Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee just got to WWE.
But he's well known out in the Indies in AAA
But Logan's known worldwide.
because of his YouTube.
But he's known worldwide. Like,
But we're talking about like actual wrestler. Dragon Lee would definitely school him easily.
same thing we said about SummerSlam. Ricochet should school him, and he lost against Ricochet.
That's how it was wrote out.
Yeah.
My money was on Ricochet.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised they just let Logan take the W like that. That's to me, I said it. Did not want Ricochet to be a jobber to Logan Paul. I needed him to take this W. But they didn't give it to him, unfortunately. But Logan Paul, compared to Jamie Hayter career, ain't no way. Logan Paul compared to Deonna Purrazzo, come on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? Or him against Tyler Bate? Tyler Bate got the UK, the Indies, and NXT. Like, what more do you want the men to do? I mean, Eagleoff is, I should have bring him up to the top 10 for sure. Carmelo Hayes is good. Braun Breaker, I would put him in the bottom 5 of the top 10 list. I would move Dominic Mysterio because he just became champion and started to be more relevant. Austin Theory, definitely move him down. Bring up El Hijo de Vaquino. Takashita, that one was a little surprised that he made it to the top 10 list.
He's been hot the past, I don't know, 3-4 months. Like,
in New Japan and with AEW,
yeah.
I get it, but I feel like he's in the teens because him, Liv Morgan, and Logan Paul down to the teens, and then I would bring up the other 3 that I mentioned. That would be my move, and then reshuffle the top 5. Because yes, I'll give it to MJF. Nobody's touching MJF right now.
Yep, nobody's touching Rhea Ripley.
Nobody's touching Rhea Ripley.
They're basically the best male, best female under 30.
Under 30, I agreed. I mean, Deonna Purrazzo will be kind of.
Yeah, but if Deonna came back, she wouldn't be at the level of Rhea Ripley.
If Deonna Purrazzo had the same opportunity as Rhea Ripley right now, or let's say if she was part of Judgment Day and killing it the way how Rhea's doing,
I don't think Deonna could.
You don't think that would translate? Because I don't think Rhea would do too crazy out of WWE.
I think she'll do. She was great in NXT, and I feel like she was. No, but I'm saying no. But like,
out of NXT.
No, but when she was in UK,
out of the
but
WWE.
I'm saying, but like UK was like, yes, it's WWE, but that's like its own entity. That was like the world over there, and she was
still part of WWE. Out of WWE, Rhea Ripley would not be as big.
I don't know.
If it was true. After she would have won the Mae Young thing, then she could have tried to make a bigger name out of herself in the Indies, which it didn't translate to that. It had her in NXT to build the character that she has. Yeah. Deonna Purrazzo hasn't been in both worlds. The only difference is that her time during WWE, she was outshined by people like the Bella Twins and Alicia Fox and why
everybody?
There was other names that like there's one that Kelly, not Kelly Kelly. There was one that was like Kelly Kelly. No, much more of an athlete than Kelly Kelly. That I liked her as the Diva champion. But during the Diva era, my argument is that Deonna Purrazzo was just outshined. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that what happened. But she went to the Indies, and look what she have made a name for herself within Impact. You know what I'm saying? Within, I think she was a 2-belt champion too with NWA. Like, she could work. And if she was able to move on to Ring of Honor, she'll be Athena for the belt. Like, that's why I think Deonna Purrazzo and Rhea Ripley, those could be changeable easily.
Oh, I don't know.
They could be changeable easily. I'm telling you, bro, those two, yes. Wesley, I'm going to give him another year. I feel like he could go a little bit higher on this list. Butch, I mean, after they changed his name, he has not been the same, personally. Bandido.
He's just a name. It's
just a name. Tony Storm. Tony Storm could be a little bit higher, close to like 11th, 12th place, personally, because UK champion, NXT champion. Not sure if she won the championship in between SmackDown and Raw or with the women tag team belt, but AEW champion, like, she has a strong resume for her to be a little bit higher. Utami Hayashishita, not familiarized, but Wheeler Yuta, not too crazy about him. Jordan Grace definitely should be a little bit higher in the list personally, but I'm glad she made it to the top 30.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my big change, to be honest with you.
But I'm not too mad about the top 10. The only one for me is just Theory hasn't. Yes, he's up there, fine, but it's like he's just been in limbo since WrestleMania, and Liv Morgan, yes, popularity, like merchandise and everything, but like I feel like since she lost basically the SmackDown title, she's just been with the tag team. Like she hasn't done a big of an impact as the other females in the list.
Well, there you guys have it. Who you feel like should have been in the top 30? Should the list be more reshuffled, more considerate? Let us know in the comment below. We appreciate every single one of you who has been supporting us on all of our social media. You know, we are on the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, as well as the Twitter or X, Providence Lucha Talk, as well as you can listen to our favorite audio content on your favorite podcast app. Any announcement or?
No, I think we're just waiting for basically the All In and basically as a Payback that's coming up.
Payback is on the 2nd.
Yep, Payback's coming up and All In and All Out. That's only the ones that are coming out.
Those are like two pay-per-view back to back, because I think one is Saturday and the other one is Sunday.
Yeah.
Around the same weekend, or one is before. It's one of the other. But all right, cool. So I'm Jay.
This is Busito.
We say thank you for watching. We appreciate you, and good night.
Good night. See ya.
Peace.